Human design reveals who you are energetically and who you came here to be. I'm Dana, your human design guide.
And I'm Haley, on this journey with you to uncover the power of human design.
Together, we're here to explore how embracing your authentic self is the ultimate path to a life of more freedom and fulfillment.
Welcome to the Human Design Hive podcast. Let's get into it.
Hello and welcome back to the Human Design Hive podcast. I am your host, Dana Phillips, and I am so happy to have you back here with me today. It's just me here at the beginning because I have a special guest coming on, so I am running solo in this first part of the episode, but there's so much goodness here in this conversation with my friend Leslie that I'll probably get into it as fast as I can. But I have known Leslie now for probably, I know we say it in the episode, I think it's like 7 years. And she's one of those people that, 7 years doesn't feel like it's been that long of a time, because I feel like she's been with me for longer than that. She is somebody that I don't talk to all the time. We live in the same town, but she's also one of those friends that you have that, no matter what, when you talk with her, you can pick right up. It doesn't matter how much time has passed. There's just a real desire to connect, see what you're up to, see how you can help each other. And that is Leslie. So I've also referred to Leslie a few times on the podcast, maybe not by name, but she is a 5/1 projector, and she's had a lot of experiences in her life that have really highlighted that 5/1 projectorness. We're going to talk about it a little bit in the episode, but I've always wanted to have her on the podcast because she is one of the very first people that was open enough to let me share my passion for human design with, and to sit down with them and kind of go through their chart. And honestly, probably just information overload, but she's a line one. She can appreciate information, and I'm sure she can take it all in too. But Leslie is a manager and a wellness educator at Bad Hair Salon, which is a high-end certified sustainable salon here locally in Myrtle Beach, and they are expanding their mission as far and wide as they can. And she didn't always do this. You're going to hear more of her story now, but I find her just to be so inspirational because she is someone who has really been through some challenges in her life, personally, physically, emotionally, mentally, and has really learned to find the answers within herself and to trust herself and to understand that, she's going to be her best advocate. And now she helps other people do the same thing, to help them, find the path forward that works for them. And as a projector, she's amazing at it. I sound like I'm hedging a little bit because I know she explains better what she does than I do, but I just want to give you a quick introduction, let you know how much I love her and how much I hope you really enjoy this conversation with us. So without further ado, let's hop on with Leslie. Well, good morning, Leslie. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Dana. I'm doing wonderful. Thanks so much for having me.
I love always connecting with you. We've done a lot in the last couple weeks getting ready for this episode, and I just have to share full disclosure up front because I like to try and be as transparent as possible. This is the second time we've done an episode together, right? Yep. Because we did one several days ago, and I forgot to hit record, and we had amazing conversation as we always do, and then it was the worst feeling in the world to realize I hadn't recorded it. Mistakes happen. So many things happened that day. We had quite a few flubs. We had some connection issues. Didn't realize then till later it is still Mercury retrograde, whatever you want to make of that. But I believe that it was a good conversation, but I'm really excited to talk to you today because I feel like when there's that many things that happened,
Yeah,
and it didn't come to pass, it's like,
that wasn't the day. Today's the day.
Today's the day. Plus, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you starting this amazing journey and project and making people aware of who they are and who they're meant to be and to be
Oh,
comfortable with that. So I'm very
well,
thankful to be here.
thank you.
Yes,
I'm thankful you are so gracious and willing to come back again and talk to me because you're a very busy person. So
absolutely.
I know who you are. You're one of my dear friends, but let's give everybody a chance to meet Leslie. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yes, I would love that. So I am Leslie. I am first most a wife to almost, gosh, it's going on 20 years now to Jeremy. And then I will have a 10-year-old on Thanksgiving, Charlotte. That's my daughter. And I am the salon manager and wellness educator at Bad Hair Salon. I also helped start their clean beauty experience using more plant-based and holistic practices in the salon. I'm part of their sustainability mission as well, along with coaching and supporting the team there. And then, gosh, last year I wanted to dive a little deeper into that passion. I love helping the clients at Bad Hair Salon and our team grow when it comes to reaching their goals, and then also teaching them more about clean beauty and protecting our planet, that I wanted to dive a little bit deeper and extend that passion into my own consulting business. So I started that a little over a year ago, and the specialty for that will be doing a lot of what I started with Bad Hair over the last 6 years, whether that is with families or businesses, specifically salons is my specialty, but kind of seeing where you're at in your lifestyle, whether you're just starting your clean journey and your sustainability practices, or you have already started and maybe reached a place where you're kind of starting to get overwhelmed, just really auditing where we're at, and then doing a course of action based on where you want to be, and doing it in a way that doesn't feel overwhelming or judgmental, and going step by step together, whether that is group coaching, virtually one-on-one coaching, and getting you where you need to be, while also making it sustainable for yourself so that you're not in burnout mode, and also profitable as well, because we've done that at Bad Hair. So
Yeah. And I mean, it's impressive what you do and what you guys have built, but I think that it's important for the listener to understand that, this is not always where you've been. This has been a process for you.
right. Mhm.
And I mean, you started really
Was.
your entrepreneur journey where I knew you were a
Yes.
event, well, or wedding planner and
Yes.
photographer. Were you a photographer?
No
No, you were just
photographer,
the
just wedding
I always
planning.
I always like associate you with photography, but that's because it's the wedding and event planning.
Yeah, for sure.
There's
No,
so much of that.
been confused for that before too. Plus, the business name was Memorable Moments, so that's
Oh, that's
easily
true.
confused with
That's okay.
photography
That's all right.
too.
But you were really good at what you did, and you were very
Thank
busy,
you.
and you were
Yes.
very a busy person. And we met, we've established maybe like around 28, 17, 18. What'd you
Yeah,
tell me? You told
2017.
me 17. Okay.
2017. Yes.
And we met through a joint kind of business venture. We were both starting. I had started before you in a clean beauty company, and we
Yes.
met through a mutual friend.
Yep.
And
He was a photographer.
oh, that's right. There you go. There's the connection.
There's the connection.
And I clicked with you immediately. I loved you. I felt like I just loved your energy and your sense of humor, and you're very much like just straight shooting that you are.
Thank
But
you.
why don't you kind of help bring us up to speed with, because it's a big journey from where you were then, which you were impressive then to me,
Thank
but
you.
you really were in a place that was unbeknownst to me at the time, a pretty low part in your
Mhm.
life, was it not?
Yes. Yeah, it was. So yes, Dana, I did own my own wedding planning business for 12 years. I built it from nothing. I was a sole entrepreneur. And as I had my daughter in 2015, it soon became apparent to me that this was not going to be a sustainable career for me. Being a new mom,
Oh yeah.
having weekends taken up where you're doing 12, 14-hour days and not being able to be there for her and my family. Plus, the consistency of it was just like all over the place. And at the time, I didn't realize I was also struggling health wise. So when you have inconsistency, stress, and long hours on top of an unhealthy system, it really can send you like down a whirlwind even more. So I also, was doing a lot in the nutrition of clean living at that time. I had really cleaned up my diet, eating more, whole foods, more whole foods, I'm sorry, and organic foods, less processed, and did really well with that, and had started switching over to what is going on in my body daily and what am I putting in and around my house for myself and my family, and had really started reading labels and digging deeper there, making my own things and making swaps. But mentally, emotionally, and physically of taking care of me, which, as a mom and as a woman, I think, it's almost, we were taught for so long how selfish that was, right?
Yeah.
And so that came late for me. And in reality, no matter where you're at in any journey that you're starting, whether it's clean living or starting your own business or starting as a mom, that has to come first. And I learned that the hard way. Okay. So I fast forward, that was like 2017. And, I didn't have time for myself, but I should have made the time for myself. And I started realizing something just was not right internally, other than just
Mm.
obviously ignoring my own self-care and self-love. But I started going to doctors and, couldn't get answers, and just kept digging deeper and digging deeper. And then in 2020, I found a holistic practitioner that listened, and
Mm-hmm.
helped me on my journey. And due to me knowing, I couldn't tell you what it was, I just knew, which I'm sure we're going to get
Mm-hmm.
into, that something wasn't right. In 2020, I came to find out that I had celiacs and severe autoimmune disease. I had had gut issues for a really long time that I guess had been misdiagnosed as IBS, but in reality, I
Mm-hmm.
had celiac. So
Celiac.
celiac, Hashimoto's, and then on top of that, I was born with a severe gene mutation, MTHFR, double gene mutated, to where what that means is your body cannot properly methylate or detox. All right.
Mm.
So a lot of things going on there. Later down the road, the woman I was working with was very certain that I had toxic mold exposure. Come to find out I did. So again, this is 2020. I'm sure we all
Mm.
remember what 2020 was like. So mine was
Mm-hmm.
hell. We had to move out of my house for a while. I was very lucky that it had not spread to my walls and my ceiling, but it was contained in my ducts and my HVAC. So that was a
Mm-hmm.
huge remediation. 8 weeks later, I moved back in. And then my daughter was also sick at that time as well. So
Mm-hmm.
now pause this for a second. My
Mm-hmm.
last wedding was also in 2020, and I
Mm.
started at bad hair in 2019. So I'm also going
Oh.
through a career switch at this time,
Yes.
which was honestly a blessing
And
because
you were, I mean, still at that time, maybe not as much, but like when we met, like through this other company, you were also in the process of like working with that as well
yes,
as you were going through all this stuff.
correct.
And I want to take a pause on your story because you're getting to a point that, things are really starting to click for you. Is I want to
Yes.
share with everybody. I like to share with the audience that my guess what your human design is
Oh yeah,
because
let's do it.
Leslie is a 5-1 splenic projector. And I did mention this, but I've been wanting to bring you on the podcast for so long because I have referenced you many times, but you are, um, you know, pretty much one of the first people that I actually printed out a report for, cobbled it all together in Canva, and then we sat down and had coffee.
Sure.
And it was an experience for you, but it was a real experience for me too because I got to see, in real time showing someone something about themselves that clicked, right? It
Yeah,
was
it was
like you
great.
didn't really understand what I was talking about, but I mean, I'm not putting words in your mouth because it's all new to
No.
everybody when they're first hearing it. But the things that resonated with you, I think, were the amount of exhaustion you had been feeling at the
Hmm.
time. You know, it is
Hmm.
physical, but it also
Hmm.
is energetically being a projector.
Yeah.
And I will mention that, you know, a lot of times projectors are perceived as not having a lot of energy because they don't have a defined sacral center, meaning there's not a consistent, sustainable use of that energy, but it amplifies everybody's energy. But you are what they call a motors or motorized projector because you do have root center definition, roots a motor, and you have will center, which is also another motor, and that's a motor that really loves to work. And so you do work, right? And you
Hmm.
enjoy your work. So in a
Yeah.
lot of way, in the way you, I think, physically work feels very generator like, you know, like me. It's
It
very,
does.
you know,
It
you love
does.
it. It engages
Yes.
you more the more that you do it. But where you have to find that balance is realizing, okay, I've done too much. Like, do
Hmm.
you feel that that will center tank is like it slowly depletes over time like a gas
Oh,
tank, like
yeah.
having a full tank of gas, and
Yes.
then you're like go 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 go, and then you're
Oh, yeah.
starting to chug, you know,
Oh,
as
yeah.
you're running out of gas.
I can 100% feel it. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And you know, we met, I want to say the whole human design thing you presented to me during, I want to say it was like 2019, 2020, right? Like,
Yeah, it was probably,
mhm.
well, it was around this time you're talking about where things, you know, started happening because, you know, when we met, I had heard of it, but I hadn't been digging into it. And it was
Gotcha.
around 2020, around summer 2020,
That's what I
where really started like um going deep into it. It just hit me at that time. And so I was very on
thought.
fire.
Which is, yes, because that is 100% when I started finding out about the mold in my house.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I remember being, you know, not feeling well and the exhaustion, but also having that insight from you gave me the permission that A, I wasn't crazy, and that B, I
Hmm.
knew that the intuition that I was
Yes.
feeling was correct. So,
Yeah, because you're definitely lit up. You know, your spleen center in your chart, which has seven gates, you have six of them activated and defined. So you have an incredibly fine-tuned splenic awareness
yeah.
center. And like you said, it is the awareness there is not rational. It is literally a in the moment, just kind of like this is healthy, this isn't healthy, go this way or whatever. It's intuition. You can't explain it. And when you're dealing with, I think, physical environments,
Mhm.
doctors, health, all that stuff, and they, you know, nobody wants to hear that you have a hunch that something's wrong because you can't back it up, right?
Right, right.
It's so
So
frustrating.
it is. We got through that in 2020. Charlotte was not feeling well during that time either. So we got through it. It was a long road. And that journey, as difficult as it was, did help me lean into that center more. So
Hmm.
then at the end of 21, I felt something that wasn't right in my throat. Like,
Hmm.
again, I wasn't able to find a practitioner at first that would listen, and I finally found one, and come to find out that we found it very early, was papillary thyroid carcinoma. So it is a very common thyroid cancer. It doesn't make it any easier, and I tried to dismiss it for a very long time, which was also unhealthy, come to find
Hmm.
out. But I had surgery the May of 22 to have half my thyroid removed and possible questionable lymph nodes on each side of my neck.
Hmm.
Uh, that was tough. So going into surgery, I found out like May 2nd. Surgery was May 24th. I had to come to peace with all sort of scenarios. So going into surgery, I had no idea if I was going to have a full lumpectomy, like where all my lymph nodes were going to have to be removed from my neck, just because going into surgery, they could not get a clear biopsy of the lymph nodes because it was so close to my carotid artery. So
Hmm.
just a lot of unknowns, but I came out of surgery with best case scenario. So no radiation needed. I was able to keep the other lobe of my thyroid, and only the lymph nodes that they did remove had no cancer in them. So rejoiced. I was able to sit with that for a minute, but then, no one prepared me for the aftermath of that. And to
Mm-hmm.
me, that was the hardest for me, that 18 months of getting my thyroid balanced out. So the
Mm-hmm.
energy depletion, the irritability, and just crashes all day.
Mm.
Once I stabilized in 23, the end of 23, I would say that the rest of 23, 24, and where we're at today, I have really grown personally and professionally in learning to take care of myself and put myself first, continue listening to that intuition, and teaching others to do that on top of the clean beauty and sustainability piece. And that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
where we're at today.
Mm-hmm.
I look at where I was 2 years ago, and it's hard to think like, holy crap, like how far I've come in just a short amount of time. And those last
Yeah.
2 years have been amazing because I have been really tuning in and
Mm-hmm.
taking care of me mentally, physically, emotionally. I had to go through therapy, after going through all of that, because it was just more than I could deal with internally myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I came to find out I really never dealt with the diagnosis. Okay.
Yeah.
We're pretty back to back. I mean, yeah, there was a little bit of time in it, but going through the mold, recuperating from that, realizing in 21 that I was having issues swallowing, and then the surgery in 22. So it was a lot of like, I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, solution, let's do it, let's get this. And I never was able to process what I was going through, grieve what I was going through, and feel those emotions. And I didn't realize that until going to therapy to see a therapist. So
Well, I would say that, and this could be a generalization. I'm not a projector, but from what I notice is that quite often, uh, underlying a lot of projectors is, they're very good at tuning into the person in front of them and tuning into what others need.
yeah,
And, that's just the aura of a projector. It is really from the heart center, just kind of projects out a little bit so it can connect to those in front of them, which is what makes you guys so good at like guiding and managing others. And but that also tends to shift the focus to others
mhm,
and not always recognizing what you need,
yes,
because we've been taught, societally, how
mhm.
for millennia, women are not supposed to, really let people know what they need. We're just here to keep everybody going and keep serving and keep
Keep everybody
nurturing.
happy. Yeah.
Yeah. And, so it is really a challenge um, to take that pause. And like I said, especially the way your energy is configured, like you want to be able to do as much as everybody else, and you can, but you also have to have those built-in periods where you're not doing, like physically not doing,
Physically not
and
doing. Hmm.
and that can be, such a challenge. And I've really enjoyed watching your journey. I always hate using that word journey, but it's a
Oh, I
true
love it though. It's so true. It is so
because
true.
and the reason I've always wanted you on is because you really are somebody that once you started honoring those parts of yourself and working with it, how really your design just really started to really shine through, because as that 5-1, you're going deep on the things that are really interesting to you, which is this, taking care of yourself, this
Yeah.
clean and sustainable, practices, with not just your health, but finding that connection between it all, and then teaching that and sharing that with people at scale, which is, something that you do. Or really, I think it's really cool because in the salon environment you're in, you're seeing
Yeah.
so many people throughout the day. And so I
Correct.
know that even when you are not working one-on-one with someone, like in a consulting capacity, you're
Sure.
dropping little bombs everywhere with people that they don't You may just have, oh, have you looked at this product? Or, oh,
Mhm.
have you tried this? This works for me. And it completely can change somebody and put them on another trajectory. And that's like
Yeah.
so much of that line five aspect of you. And um, so now I was curious after our last conversation that
Yes.
didn't get recorded. Um, when you work with people, I
Mhm.
I I wonder if do you find like I don't know if you do, I'm just asking, a
Yeah.
common underlying theme or something within clients that because they come to you for like I want to clean up my life, right? They're
Right.
thinking from the outside. But do
Right.
you usually find that it's something inside that needs to be cleaned up first? Does that make sense? That whole mind body connection, spirit. Or
Well,
people, will they go there? Do they go there?
I want them to go there. That's the goal
Yeah.
because you based on how I did this, and again, my journey started with clean living over a decade
Mm-hmm.
ago. But like
Mm-hmm.
I said, I did things ass backward and didn't have this
Mm-hmm.
right. Okay. Or not right, because it's always a journey, right? We're always working on ourselves. But I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have this stable to be able to accept things, you know what I mean? To
Mm-hmm.
accept things the way that they are and to learn from mistakes. You mentioned, the people pleasing, not having the healthy
Mm.
boundaries up at the time. I mean, that
Yes,
I
because
was
you're
all
completely you have a completely open emotional
right.
solar plexus.
I was
Yeah.
all those things. And, not just myself and the Live On with Les consulting and the managing work that I do at Bad Hair, but our entire business principle at Bad Hair is a lot of what I'm talking to you about is,
Mm-hmm.
who are we as a person? Who are we being first before we're showing
Mm-hmm.
up, every
Mm-hmm.
day? And we really pride ourselves and strive to teach everyone, not just the people that we work with on the daily, but our customers and our clients to advocate for themselves and to rejoice in the textured hair that they have and to educate them to embrace that.
Mm.
So I would say the underlying theme that has really taken me to that next level of feeling comfortable with where I'm at and teaching people to also feel comfortable with wherever they are in their journey, because their journey is not going to look like mine, right? They might be in
Mm-hmm.
day 25 where I'm in day 5,000. Do you know what I mean? It's just
Mm-hmm.
really meeting people where they're at with what they need. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so easy nowadays it's got to be this like all or nothing approach because right we have instant gratification in our fingertips all the time with mobile and social media and whatnot, and everything looks so perfect from the outside, and that a lot of people feel as if you have to do all of this at once. You don't. Like,
Yeah.
just pick an area that maybe you're struggling the most with, or that needs like um
Mm-hmm.
prompt change, and let's dive deep there and
Yeah.
kind of assess where we're at there and do things that are easy and tangible and build routines and longevity,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the thing that I keep going back to, that if you don't have your mindset right around it and your emotional and physical well-being around it,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to stay consistent with it. And
Right.
that's the biggest thing, is just making sure, like, can we adapt practices that resonate with you, whether that is in your business salon or you personally with your family, that you're going to continue to carry out consistently, and
Mm-hmm.
doing that in a easy way to where it's a couple things at once, instead of not an all or nothing approach and like, let's judge where we're at, because where the hell is that going to get anybody? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that answered your question, but that's kind of what we do, and what I
Yeah.
do, and the approach that I'm taking with people that are interested in learning more about this. And me so well, you talked about like dropping bombs on people throughout the day, as I'm
Good
interacting.
bombs.
Yeah, but really listening to where their challenges are just in conversation, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
where are they asking for solutions? And if they're not asking, I'm not going to give it to them, because I also don't want to be that person either. And
Yeah.
that's taken a long time to get to that piece as well, is,
Yeah.
asking people for permission or listening for the invitation. And that goes a lot further than just
Hmm.
giving people advice that they don't need when that's probably all they're hearing and getting all day
Yeah.
is people butting in and giving them shit that they don't need, right?
So yeah, it does make sense, and it's something I wanted to circle back on because,
Yeah.
you know, when I was talking about before about your line five profile, there
Hmm.
is it's called the heretic. So you've got this double whammy kind. It's so much in your design is so interesting to me how it plays out, and you're navigating it wonderfully because you've got the projector, and as you said, you've learned to wait for that invitation, hearing that, to kind of understand from that aspect of maybe why before when you tried to share things with people, it just either didn't land or they got angry with you or just shut you out completely because, the projector, it does work better when, even though you have your throat center in the human design or in, that aspect, the
Yeah.
energetic center is defined. There is energy there, but it doesn't have direct access to what we call those motors. So the energy going to it, there's not this consistent energy going to it, let's say, motorized. So it works better when it's also invited to share what it has to say. Now, it doesn't
Yeah.
mean you can't, you know, write about it, make videos about
Sure.
it, talk about it, but that one to one, interactions with people, because I have the same thing. It's like if they're not ready to hear what you have to say or they didn't ask for it, you can get all kinds of wonky reactions. But that line
Yes.
five aspect too, it's like it's interesting because you have to, sort of wait for this recognition, but then there's also something in your energy field that is always drawing people to you. That line five has this, seductive quality to it because you are a solution provider. It's somebody who does have the answers. You're a problem solver. Like it's natural and it's meant to impact people at large. But what people need is not always what they're ready to hear, like you said. And you've learned to navigate that whole like meeting them where you are because, having those experiences, I'm sure over and over again of being so frustrated or, whatever you want to call
Mhm.
it when you try to help people
Yep.
and they just right over their heads, you
Right.
know, and because I know you've had that experiences before. We talked about it before, where you
Yeah.
before you started really integrating this and paying attention to how it lands, maybe better when you just stop with. Can I tell you something else
Yeah. Tell
about
me.
your
Oh, we're
design?
here. Yeah.
So your incarnation cross. So I just did a workshop on incarnation cross,
Hmm.
and your incarnation cross is the left angle cross of upheaval, is what it's called. And it consists of your sun, your main energy gate is gate 18, which is gate of correction. And it sees what needs to be corrected, but it's not something to use on yourself. It is like out in the collective. It is like knowing what needs to be improved and refined and, worked on. That's your main energy signature in your chart, which is again,
Wow.
you're a solution provider. You are meant to do that. And the other energies, they're so fascinating. So it's 18 in your sun, 17 in your earth, which is the gate of opinions. Uh, on the unconscious side, which is where um, parts of your design, your unconscious sun and earth that maybe aren't as clear to you, but other people feel it more or recognize it more. The
Yeah.
sun is in gate 39, which is provocation, and 38 is your earth, which is the fighter. Okay. You put all these energies together and you really are somebody that is designed to kind of shake things up in people's lives. It's like when you think about upheaval, it's like shining the light and like, hey, there's a different way to do this. Like you can see clearly what needs to be corrected. You have your opinions about it. When people get in your energy field, that 39 has a way, it's like to me it's like a guitar string, when you tune it, you like ting, or a
Hmm.
tuning fork. It knows when something's kind of off and it can
Yeah.
kind of, but it has the effect on others of feeling sometimes provoking, that you're trying to you know, but it's for a good
Mhm.
cause. It's for really shaking them up and seeing that, you know, what's worth fighting for? What is the thing in your life that, what is your life? Do you want your life? Do you want it to be better? I can help you like
Mhm.
get back in alignment with that and get to the core of it. And I just wanted to share that with you personally
Oh, I'm
because
so glad that you did.
but those are all the things I see in, design that gets me excited when I talk to people and hear what they do and what's really passionate for them and the work that they're doing and the journeys that they've had, how it's all right there. It's not that
Awesome.
you didn't strive for that. You don't even know this is really going on because you're not studying it all the
No.
time like I am. And yet you just leaned into honoring your own energy and how it wants to create ease for you in your life. And those things just really blossomed. And I think that's really what you're doing now.
That's beautiful,
Sorry.
Dana. I'm so glad that you shared that. I don't think I was fully aware of the incarnation cross and all of that. You might have reviewed it with me years ago, and it
I
didn't.
didn't know nearly as much.
Wow,
I
that's
may have,
beautiful.
but I
I
don't
had no
even know if I
idea.
did. Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
funny too because when I heard you speak about this, and then even some of the things just now too, some of these like feelings and the way that I think back, I had some of those early on in life. Like I'm talking as a kid and in junior high and high school, and always wanting to know why behind
Yeah.
things and never being afraid to ask questions and just
Hmm.
staying curious to the point where like why is this the way that this is? I mean, I was always that person that was raising my hand and asking the further questions in class and wanting to dig deeper. I
That's
know
that's
you and I
funny.
have talked about that.
Well, that's funny because you also have the channel of curiosity. It's literally trying
Right.
to make meaning,
um
wanting to know why, what is this about? Why did this happen? Sharing
right.
ideas.
And people be like, oh, here she goes again. So and yes, people being drawn to me or telling me things, after just meeting
Hmm.
them like early on. I'm talking dump heavy things on me
Oh
within
yeah.
like
Yeah, yeah.
30 minutes of meeting them, 5 minutes. I mean, I've had first interviews at Bad Hair before, and I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, and I guess it's just something that I give out that invites them to do that, and
Hmm.
that it is very special that people feel comfortable enough to do that in a short amount of time. I guess it's a gift, but at the same time realizing that gift, which is something that you had taught me, and knowing like when to get restored, because if not,
Hmm.
you can continue carrying like all of that
Oh yeah.
baggage around with you.
Yeah.
Um, and if
Yeah,
you're not
that's
like pausing when you need it, it's not going to benefit yourself or the people you are trying to resonate with or lead or
hmm
your family or your loved ones. That's
yeah.
really cool to hear you
Well, well,
say
yeah, and
something.
the boundaries for you are so important because like I said, there's always these, basic conundrums in the chart, these things, these challenges that are innate in your design that are going to be almost in opposition to each other, not in a way to make you feel separate, but to help you learn how to really become wise and manage that because your openness in your chart is that completely open solar plexus, the open sacral, open head. But what you just described is like you have an energy that draws people in. They want to tell you everything. They want you to provide all this and they dump all of it, like you said, on you. And you have this open emotional solar plexus that is like, whoa, if you aren't aware of your boundaries and what's yours and what's theirs, and that you're not responsible for everything in their life, you could really burn yourself out more by not knowing what's yours and what's theirs. And
Mhm.
so, if that were something you were struggling with, if somebody came to me with that, I'd be like, you need to spend some time by yourself.
Yeah.
Not just laying down on the couch around with your family or anything, but no, you need to have dedicated time and space where you can kind of discharge that sacral energy. You can
Yeah.
get back to your emotional baseline, which is on your own. You know, you have emotions and everything, but they're not generally going to be fluctuating everywhere like more emotional people do with their waves. They're, you're able to understand other people's emotions. It makes you very empathetic and being able to, tap into them. But, learning where those boundaries are for you is also, I think, what's really helped you to
It
flourish in the
has.
way you have.
Yeah, it is definitely something that I have worked very hard on, especially going through all the health challenges that I did. So the last couple years, it's something that, I knew that they were there, but I didn't clearly have them defined with people that needed to have them defined.
Yeah.
So it and I tell people too, as when you have your boundaries and you know what they are and what they aren't, you are going to have to repeat those to people. They can't
Yeah.
they can't
That's
remember
true.
them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone's
Yeah.
boundaries are different, and that that can be frustrating, and it's something that I'm still working on too. That it's like, okay, I just that you're supposed to know what this is, but they're not. Like they've got
Hmm.
their own shit going on every day too, but the more that you can clearly define those and communicate those and know when you are saying yes to something, what are you saying no to, when you feel pushed, or when you feel something's not right, what are you
Hmm.
doing about it? Are you just continuing to people please? Because again, that's going to burn you out. But I've really leaned into knowing, like you said, when I do need that emotional reset, because I'm telling you, for as long as I can remember, I can come into a space and I can feel, like, immediately feel what is happening in that space. I can look at somebody like I know this sounds crazy, but like as long as I can remember, especially if I'm tight with you, like if we love each other and we've been in each
Hmm.
other's life for a long time, I can just look at that person that day and be like, what what's going on with you? Like what's off?
Hmm.
I'm here for you. Just know that I'm here for you if you need to chat about it. And if I'm not in a good space for that chat that day, I'm not going to invite that in. Do you know do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Um
Hmm. Hmm.
and sometimes, I think the people, more and more people that know how I've been working the last couple years, are, I would love to borrow you for a minute. Is this a good time for you? And that is great, is being
Mm.
able to, they get it, and asking for permission for me, just like I have been asking permission for them, or waiting
Yes.
for that invitation. And, you know,
Yeah, it
it
goes both
feels
ways, you know.
it
Yeah, that's
does
what I
go
said.
both real
Hmm.
ways, and the connections that I have been building, and the relationships that keep kind of coming my way, the new ones, the existing ones, the one that I'm building on these last couple years, they feel so much more like aligned and
Hmm.
genuine and authentic, and appreciative to who I am and what I value, and then me appreciating who they are and what they value and what their passion is. It might not be the exact same thing. They might
Hmm.
not be a huge clean beauty guru or as much into sustainability as I am, but we're able to find a common ground or connection somewhere in our life
Hmm.
path, and really connect on that level, whatever it is, and appreciate one another and our passions, and work together to raise each other up. And that's really
Hmm.
important with the people you surround yourself with, because
Hmm.
if you cannot surround yourself with people that want the best for you and you want the best for them, and they bring positivity in your life, they
Hmm.
got to go, honey.
Well, that's part of really the work that I love doing too is, and what it's helped me so much in my own personal life is understanding that we are all, I've always known we're all different. I've always felt different from
Yeah.
anybody around me, but to
Same.
see in front of me literally how different people can be wired, and to
Mhm.
understand that just because I see things a different way or I operate a certain way and doesn't mean anybody else does. And I think that's the value of
Right.
seeing yourself through human design, because in my experience, it was understanding, I've been with my husband for over 30 years, but there was always these little things that would just drive me nuts. And it was seeing eventually that I was a generator, he was a manifesting generator. His energy just worked a lot differently than me. And he doesn't give two shits about human design, like what it means for him, right? He doesn't care.
Right.
None of the stuff I've ever been interested in is he like going to delve into me. And, he did go to a few yoga classes once, but it doesn't it doesn't matter because I understand that I move at a different pace. And I understand now that the things that drove me crazy about him, like all these different projects and doing things and not finishing them and always having to be busy and blah, blah, blah. I realized that's just the way he is, and helping him understand that that's okay for you to be that way, but I don't have to be that way. I
Right.
I don't have to do all the things you want to do. We can have
Yeah.
this really great, symbiotic relationship where everything goes most of the time okay
Yeah.
and still be our complete different people, but also just looking at all the different types of people and the way they work and understanding how they communicate and understanding, what kind of, energy flow they might have and
Sure.
understanding where they're going to be more susceptible to their environment than I am. It's like all those little pieces. I have that insight. That's how I operate. But for you to just be able to feel that in the field really, I think, came from that understanding of, like you said, it feels more aligned and more solid and grounded in who you are because that's who you've become. Like you've
Mhm.
just appreciated, recognized yourself and what you need and what you can provide and can still do that with an open heart. You're not just like shutting people off. You're just
Right.
like, hey, I can help in this little way. I can help in that way, or I can completely change your life, whatever you want.
I love that, Dana. I do. I
Well,
love it.
I know you've got to go, so I don't want to have you rush on this part, but I know you have something coming up. You have a class coming up.
Yeah.
So people that are interested in the work that you do, you
Yes.
have your consulting company, which you call Live On with Less, where you do help
Yeah.
people, maybe transition over to, a cleaner lifestyle, but it's more than just that, so
Yes.
you have something coming up. So why don't you tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about what's coming up?
Thanks, Dan. I would love to.
Hmm.
So, December 15th, I am offering my quarterly class. It is a complimentary 90-minute class. I do it each quarter. It is 9 a.m. Eastern time, and Dana will be dropping, I'm sure, in the show notes the way to
Hmm.
register for that. And what this class is each quarter, I really dive a little bit deeper on what Live On with Les Consulting deems as wellness foundations, okay, or
Hmm.
the cleaner lifestyle. We talked a lot today about mind, body, and spirit and protecting your energy and getting to know who you are and taking time for yourself. So this piece is perfect for this podcast that we're talking about today because that is what that class is all going to be about. We're really
Hmm.
just talking about how to embrace taking care of you, how to stop the hamster wheel going, the burnout cycle. What are you doing for yourself? And there's going to be tactical and practical ways on achieving that. And we talk through that. Again, it's virtual, so anybody can hop on. I've had, a smaller class of 5, and I've had as many as 30 people on. So it's
Hmm.
whatever you can do, even if you can just hop on for a few minutes. We would love to see you that day. It's also a great way to get a taste of what my coaching
Hmm.
and personality is like.
Yeah.
So,
I
yeah,
I was gonna say, because there's people listening. They're like, I'm in. I already know that I need to, maybe
do it.
walk this path with you, do it. So there is a way that people can work with you one on one, and you are offering a special for our listeners. So
Yes, I
if
am.
you're like, I'm in, Leslie has a 3 session package. What do you do with that?
Yes. So if you are in, you will get 15% off the three session package when you mention human design. And I really appreciate Dana having me on here. She will drop all my contact information. The best way to
Hmm.
reach me is going to be through Instagram, which is Leslie Menich. You can shoot me a message there. Or my email is liveonwithles@gmail. Again, it's all going to be posted. But what that 3 session package is really, and why it's 3 1 hour one-on-one coaching sessions with follow-up call notes and actionable steps for you to start wherever you are. And what that is very customized to what you need, where you are, where you want to go. Let's take an audit of where you are in your life. If it's for you and your family at home, whether it's your business or salon practice, it's meeting you where you're at. What are your challenges? What are the misconceptions that is holding you back? And where do you want to start? Whether that salon sustainability, or like I said, if you're at home, maybe you're needing some cleaner weeknight meals to get you through the week. If you're a mom that needs easy recipes to get through the week, or what to be cleaning with so that it's not toxic to you and your family. But the main principle of that is the 3 1-hour one-on-one coaching sessions, and then the actionable steps and call notes that you will receive afterwards. And you'll get 15% off of that for listening today. So
that's awesome. That's very generous. I think that's amazing. I find that, the kind of work that you do, it definitely takes more than a one-off, right? But
yes,
if you're unsure, check out the free class she has coming up on December 15th. Like she said, all the notes or all the information will be in the show notes for you. And Leslie, I just adore you so much, and I'm so excited to finally have had you here on the
me too.
podcast. And I know I always put people on the spot by saying, is there anything else you want to say? But if there's anything else you want to say to our listeners before we wrap up.
I would just say, give yourself grace, no matter where you're at or what you're doing. Tune in to who you know that you truly are. And it's okay. Like, if you're waiting for the permission, this is it. Like,
there you go.
Be who you're meant to be and have fun doing it. Because unfortunately you're not guaranteed tomorrow. So that's living in the present has been my goal the last couple years.
Yeah. If you need help, you need support, you can find it. So anyways, thank you so much
Dana,
for being.
She's amazing.
Yeah, and my girl Leslie, come on. All right. Well, I appreciate you so much, Leslie. And thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye, Dana. Take care.
Well, there you had it. You heard it straight from Leslie. And I hope you can understand now how much I absolutely adore her. She is someone that just immediately puts you at ease and brings you into her world. And I really hope that you are considering taking advantage of her offers for the upcoming class that she has on December 15th. All the information is going to be there in the show notes, and get on her email list, because she's going to really drop some valuable information, I'm sure, along the way, and you don't want to miss that. So I really appreciate you listening today. I really appreciate you taking the time to get to know Leslie. And so with that, I guess I'll just say bye for now, and catch you on the next episode. You made it all the way to the end of today's episode, so you must have liked what you heard. If you did, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode, and perhaps leave us a good review. And if you know someone who wants to dig into all things human design with us, make sure you share the Human Design Hive podcast with them. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks for listening.